If you ignore your coolant leak, your motor could go kaboom. We had him towed in from another dealer in Gilbert. He had a coolant leak on his turbocharger coolant lines. They run back behind the belt here and they're plastic. And for some reason, manufacturers think it's a great idea to put plastic on hot metal parts and then wonder why they fail. Well, I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you that those two things don't really go well together. So while we're in there, we replaced all his turbocharger coolant lines, even the ones that weren't leaking, just because it's a good practice, along with his water pump. And we're gonna be replacing his thermostat as well to prevent any need to go back into the system, as they are also common failure points on this vehicle. Coolant leaks aren't really something that you can neglect as much as, say, an oil leak, where you've got some spotting on the ground, you could wait a little while. If coolant's leaking out of your motor, or really any component, it's a matter of time. It can go from 1 to 2 drips a day to suddenly you got a gallon on the floor. Kind of an unfortunate thing, but if I had $1,000 to spend, I would prioritize a coolant leak over an oil leak. So the reason for the coolant leak was plastic failing. It was cheaper to manufacture plastic parts, but didn't mentally think that plastic parts would wear as much as they do. You're gonna see a lot more failure points on a plastic part, in my opinion, than you would on a solid metal line, because it's a solid metal line. So when you start to introduce plastic, you've got expansion, contraction, and a lot of heat moving through it, you're gonna start to see failures of parts. And then it becomes super brittle over time as well, which is what we mainly saw. Was the hose just disintegrates. It just pops off of the fittings and you'll put it in here. But that part broke off and it just slid right off. Plastic over time, it's just not long-term part, basically. And I mean, this car it's a model year 2016, so it's approaching 10 years probably of actual car life, and no history of this being done, but it is common. You also gotta be very delicate when you're working on them too, because last thing I wanna do is have to go back to the customer and be like, hey, we also broke the radiator and this and that. And then we look reckless when that's not always the case. It slightly touched it and then it snapped right off, pretty much.